my dear little bugs. Welcome back to my channel again. So, if postgrad student or an undergrad student and it's your first time of making a poster, can you're like totally blank how to attract a viewer towards your poster and what are the basic guidelines it has to be followed, rules it has to be followed while making a poster, we'll study or I'll make it clear for you in this particular video. Let's start it. So, visualizing research, a guide to effective scientific posters. Okay, so before jumping into the kind of like how to make a poster, okay, like how to be making an effective poster presentation or how to make a poster, general rules and all, you should know something about research paper. I master students or postgrad students didn't know about research paper. If you're an undergrad student, you might be hearing it for the first time. So these steps are very important to follow. So you just listen to me carefully. If you know these aspects properly, you can kind of like imagine how to present and how to make a poster. Okay, so fine, we'll start with steps of how to write before what are the things which is needed for a research paper. So just imagine you are an undergrad student or a postgrad student. A basic sense is how to choose a topic. Okay, so if you're an undergrad student for your mini project, you will be having a list from the university and maybe you're choosing one out of it. Okay, so you'll be choosing one of the topics from it, or you're kind of like choosing your own independent topic with the help of your guide. You'll be accepting it, right? You will be he or she will be accepting it that you can do that, and you will be following the same. Okay, instructions by your mentor. Okay, so if you go for a post grad, it's actually the individual's decision. He what kind of like a topic he or she wants to choose. Okay, from that, the guide will give the permission and you can continue your project. That's how it goes. Okay. First and foremost thing, whenever we speak about a research paper or whenever we speak about research or whenever we make speaking about the poster presentation or whatever, poster presentation is the end point of presenting your whatever work you have done. Okay. So what kind of like a thing you should remember in a research, the first and foremost things comes into your picture, sorry, into the picture is choose topic. It's a kind of like a big issue. Some people will be randomly choosing a topic and they'll be going blank in the mid of the experiments and whatsoever. So it's very much crucial to choose that topic or those topics, okay, which is kind of like keep you engaging whenever you're doing experiments, okay, or kind of like a relevant to your subject. Okay, it should be relevant to your subject. Just imagine you're how kind of like a zoologist. Okay, and you will be choosing some kind of like a microbiology wala stuff. Okay, maybe you have studied microbiology wala stuff when you're in undergrad. Okay, when you're doing postgrad project, may not be difficult issues. Okay, for you while handling the culture, media, and all those things. But if you just imagine you don't know the subject of microbiology and you're choosing the microbiology wala stuff as your project, first thing, guide won't accept it. Okay, but thing is that if he or she accepts and you're gonna continue, you will be in a great dilemma. Okay, when you're kind of like in the mid of your project. So it should be relevant to your subject. Okay, and it should be engaging. So it should be like always kind of a curious interest, okay, of your interest, so that you won't be like boredom when you're doing the experiments. So that should be the first thing. Now, how to select the topic? Okay, so there are so much of research paper coming, okay, every year or every now and then, okay, about some new topics may be emerging. Previous topic itself will be kind of like modified in a proper way so that it will be more effectively used. Okay, so many things are going to happen. So there are so many ways. The first way, you go into surrounding, you observe. When you observe, you get something from that, right? Just imagine how to observe and how to take it. Just imagine you go somewhere for a ride. Okay, you saw a plant. Okay, I'm just going in a botanic perspective. Okay, so you saw a plant. Maybe it is a herbal plant. You studied about this during your theory classes, and you're like, oh, this is that particular XYZ plant having this particular kind of like what you can say antioxidant properties or whatsoever. Okay, antimicrobial property or whatsoever you have studied in theory. Okay, native plant. Okay, so not so much of research has been done about this particular plant. You just imagine like that. So what you will do, you will take a little kind of like you can do the vegetable propagation. I don't know about botany. I'm sorry if I've made mistake. Okay, so you just bring that particular plant to your university or whatsoever or your home. You grow that particular plant. Okay, from that you will be just kind of like taking leaves from that plant, maybe leaf extract, maybe root extract. There are so many ways, right? Some plants have the root extracts for some plants will have antioxidant properties. Leaf extracts will have antioxidant properties like that. Right? Just imagine this is a new plant you have got, and you have studied somewhere in theory that this has so issue, kind of like not issue, sorry, benefits. Okay, so research paper is not published till yet. Somebody has written. What you will do, you will take chance that this particular plant has antioxidant property, this particular plant has antimicrobial property. So you will extract the kind of like what you will be undergoing the, you will be actually taking the leaves. Okay, you will be extracting it via methanol or ethanol or whatsoever solvents will be there. So you'll be keeping it for 24 hours, or you will be just kind of like you will be using the rotary shaker for 50 minutes or whatsoever. Then you centrifuge it, you go for the assays, different assays of antioxidants, okay, and all those things, and you will prove that this particular plant is going to have some medicinal issues. Oh, sorry, not medicinal issues. I'm extremely sorry, medicinal properties, okay, or antioxidant properties or whatsoever. So, what is now how this particular individual got to know about this? He studied theory. He went outside to the field. He saw that plant. Something comes to his mind. I have to study on this particular plant. Is it clear for you? That's actually by your observation. If you just got boredom about this particular botanist, you can go to zoologist point of view. He goes somewhere in the theory in your basically if you're undergrad student, you have studied ticks and mice in your first time probably, I believe. Okay? Same thing you observe in your pet dog. Maybe you saw ticks and mice. So what you will do, you will study more. Okay, so you will study kind of like what kind of disease has been transferred from this particular ticks or mice to the dog. Okay, or what happens, okay, when the maggots, I hope you know about maggots, okay? So I'll be just adding the photograph of maggots if you don't have this. So Magad's Wala disease, if you want to study, okay, you can just check about the life cycle, life history. If there is no kind of like a paper showing the proper life histories of certain texts or certain kind of like flies which actually produce maggots, okay, so all those things. So what you can just do it is you can take that as your research project. That's a basic one for undergrad student. If you're a postgrad student, you can just take the same thing. You can just take some of your kind of like a biofertilizer. Okay, I'm just giving hints. Okay, you can take a biofertilizer as your project. Okay, so you can compare your biofertilizer product, okay, to your animal-based biofertilizer. Maybe some insect frass, okay, as a biofertilizer, or some seafood waste as a biofertilizer, or whatsoever. There are some people's available. Okay, that was a biofertilizer versus chemical fertilizers. You can do that. Okay, so all those things comes into picture. Now, how it's going to happen? One thing, study, study, study. From that, you will get an option that I have to choose this topic because I am actually interested in it. Okay. Otherwise, observe, observe, observe. You are observing the nature, and nature is giving you hints that please do this. Please do the work on these things. So that's how it goes. So this is how we're going to choose a topic. Observe or via study, or just you observed and study is going to be mixing. Like suddenly your nature is going to giving hint that this topic I have to choose. This is like in a kind of like a current trend. So we can choose, no issues. Okay. So that's how we're going to choose the topic. So if selecting the topic is clear for you, how it is actually selected and it should be relevant to your subject of interest. Okay. Fine. The next thing is about to conduct background research. Okay. So once just imagine you have chosen that I am going to use so and so XYZ kind of like plant, and I'm going to check the antioxidant property. Let me just stick into that. Okay, antioxidant property. So what I have to choose, what I have to do next, I have selected the topic. I don't know what to do next. I know I have to do antioxidant property wala essays. I don't know. Think about it. Okay, just imagine you don't know you in your daily lab routine you have not studied about antioxidant property wala essays in your lab. Okay, you have not conducted experiments till now. Okay, that may be a one kind of like a what you can say. You might have a stress that what kind of antioxidant property wala essays is there. Okay, or the second thing you can just imagine that I don't know what kind of methods they have used. Okay, maybe there are so many scientists, there are so many researchers in the world. Okay, so what kind of methods they have used? You should know that. Right? You should have a foundation for your topic beforehand itself, before you conduct experiments. So that's the next step. After choosing a topic of your interest, you have to conduct a background research. Okay, so it's a background research. You have to check for academic journals. Okay, what is that? It's called as review of literature. Okay, it's called as reviewing the literature which has been already been published on the websites or on the internet or in the journal or whatsoever. Okay, so just imagine this A student, student A has choose this particular herb, right? So what he will search? Okay, he can go to Google Scholar or whatever. Okay, he will search it, he will write. Okay, so this is XYZ herb, comma. Okay, that is a herb, comma, antioxidant assay, comma, and all he want to do. Okay, so other experiments he want to do. Okay, so that he will be searching in that thing. So what is that? Now he is actually putting input, that is a keyword, that is this particular herb, this particular assay, or whatsoever. Okay, so he will get those papers which has been previously kind of like what you can say published in the particular different journals. Okay, he will get to know that this particular herb wala antioxidant property has been already published. Okay, at that case, this is the first case I'm telling. Okay, it's already published. At that time, there will be redundancy if you do the same experiment again. That's the issue. So you should not choose this particular herb. Okay, so what you can do instead, okay, you can use this herb, some other herb. You can mix two, you can do the mixture of one herb with another herb. And you can just change kind of like, obviously, when you use two proper kind of like, just imagine this XYZ herb and ABC herb. Okay, so these two are the two different types of herbs, and you're gonna merge and make an another kind of like what you can say a tablet or whatsoever, which is actually having more kind of like an efficiency compared to this ABC and XYZ. That is a kind of like a new paper you can make. So that's the one thing. Otherwise, first thing I have already told, you will be checking it if it's already been existing. You need to kind of do that experiment. It's kind of like a redundancy of the same experiment. Sure. If it is not done, you can continue. It will only tell no, this particular plant wala antioxidant assay is not done. But same family, like a different kind of like a plant ka antioxidant assay has been done. So you have opportunity to use this particular herb or sorry or a plant, okay, and publish a paper regarding the same that this also has the antioxidant property or whatsoever. That's how it goes. Okay. Or if it's already published and you don't have any other idea, you can do the mixture of mixing with ABC. Okay. And you're gonna create your own tablets or whatsoever. Okay. Not tablets. You can just say that if you use the mixture, you will be having more efficient antioxidant or whatsoever. So to do it, you should make an you should conduct an experiment. This is just a dummy example I have given. Why we have to conduct background research. Okay, and that is how the first step goes. Reading their paper, you will get to know that how much kind of like a ppm or how much mg per ml okay, sample has been prepared. Okay, from that, how much kind of like standards they have made. So stock they have prepared, right? How much amount of working standards they have made. Okay, and like how much kind of like you can just say, consider that working standards has been prepared from certain 10 mg per ml to 50 mg per ml or 1 mg per ml to 5 mg per ml. You can do start from the same thing itself when you're doing the research. Okay, when you're conducting the experiment, if it actually gives you results, well and good. So you can just increase, decrease based upon the results what you get. Okay, so that's why even studying their research wala entire kind of like concept is also very important. Steps what they followed is also very crucial. Okay. Just imagine they got a result in 10, okay, maybe 10 mg per ml, okay. But your herb is giving it 5 mg per ml, it's the same result. At that time, discussion, you will deciding whatever what is discussion in the process. So you can just tell compared to their herb, our herb is giving a very good result. Like that, you can just say it can have a standard ascorbic acid, okay, all those things, and you can compare it with standard also. Okay, that's the background research is a very important thing. Or just imagine multiple papers when you read, you will get to know that what kind of procedure is good to be conducted in our lab. Maybe sometimes you will not have a kind of like gallic acid in your lab. You can use ascorbic acid. Maybe in other paper you have studied, they have used standardized ascorbic acid. You will be like in a very kind of like relieved that I can use ascorbic acid if you're doing it for the first time. Okay, so you'll get to know that somebody has used ascorbic acid, even I can use ascorbic acid instead of gallic acid as a standard. Okay, so those things you will get to know when you read a paper. So you have to conduct a background research. At the same time, so these things are to be like noted down properly, and other things to be kept in mind, like to identify the gaps in the existing research paper. This is one of the important thing that you should know. So you have read multiple papers, like 10 to 15 papers, the basic number I'm telling. So usually just imagine student mentality. He will get 110 to 15 paper max. You just imagine. Okay. So in that he'll find out. Okay. So what is the research gap now? Just imagine. Just imagine some kind of like a what you can say biofertilizer only. You just imagine. Okay. So biofertilizer was made, or just imagine what bioplastic. Bioplastic was made using plant starch or whatsoever, and during rainy season you cannot use. Okay. I hope you know that bioplastics, whatever you make it, is a biodegradable one. Just imagine if it is kind of like water soluble. I'm just giving some basic dummy example. You can understand, I hope. And just don't take it serious. I'm giving some dummy example over here. That is water soluble. Okay. So at that time you cannot use that particular bioplastic, okay, during rainy season. Okay. So that is a research gap over here. So what you will do? I will add extras some product to the same bioplastic so that it will be actually decreasing the water solubility content. Maybe it is biodegradable in soil, okay. Hmm. But if you add water more, it is not that kind of like showing effect as the normal bioplastic. Okay, how the protocol has been followed. Maybe that is considered as research gap. So water soluble it too. So you're not actually kind of like what you can say. You're reducing the water solubility. It's biodegradable. So you're solving that particular research gap in your paper. That's how it goes. The next step is you're going to develop a thesis statement, conduct an experiment. This statement, always whenever you start, okay, you have basic null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis. Okay, just imagine same bioplastic I will use, okay? Null hypothesis, what does it state? Okay. So null hypothesis usually states that, okay, so if you're using this XYZ wala bioplastic, okay, so I'm just giving example, okay, don't take it seriously. So it is water soluble. It will be always water soluble. So no changes will be there. Okay. If even though you add extra products to it, okay, I have used cornstarch wala bioplastic. So it is water. I'm just giving dummy example. Don't take it seriously. Okay. But you have to listen to me properly to understand how to develop thesis statement or hypothesis. Okay. So we have used this cornstarch wala bioplastic. Okay. And it will say null hypothesis will state that if water soluble it is every time. Okay. So there won't be change if you add extra product also. Okay. Alternative hypothesis will tell I will add extra product to this particular cornstarch wala bioplastic with water soluble. I'm giving in a very kind of like a basic sense to understand how to frame null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, frame it properly. I'm just telling you how it goes. Okay, that's how you're gonna develop a thesis. Okay, now this is statement. Okay, now the next step after conducting a thesis statement, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis or whatever, you will start with the null hypothesis. If and the result, if it's not happening, it's not kind of like you should here if you're doing it. The main motto was the research gap over here is it should not be like a water soluble and factor. Null hypothesis should be like reject your alternative hypothesis should be selected. Okay, it should be accepted. That's how it goes. Okay. So after doing this particular hypothesis wala process, now you're going to conduct an experiment. I have already told you have read this particular student has read 10 to 15 papers and he have made his own protocol, how much mg per ml or micro a gram per ml or whatsoever ppm he has chosen. And for that, he'll be checking the antioxidant properties. Maybe he will be using the TAC assay or he will be doing this particular FRAP assays and all those things. Okay. So he will be telling that this much percentage or this much percent, what absorbance wala graph he can put. Okay. Or this much percent inhibition wala graph he can put and he will conclude his particular research. Okay. That's how it goes. So here you will be conducting experiment by reference. What is research paper? Not your lab protocols or whatsoever. Okay? Research paper is important. Okay? So you'll be conducting an experiment. After that, after all your experiments are completed, what's next? Now it's the research paper coming into picture. Okay, so you will be actually outlining your paper structure. So outline the paper structure. We'll be having multiple drafts, okay, over here. So you have to plan. The first thing is you have to plan the layout for your paper. Okay, what's the layout for your paper? First things will be abstract, a small 250 words wala paragraph. What you find it in your paper. Okay, abstract. What introduction I have to give? What is the methodology? We'll discuss that. Okay, results, discussion, conclusion. So that's the basic layout of the paper. Acknowledgement also will come over here. Some in some research paper they will give acknowledgements also. So that's depending upon the person to person. It will be differing from one perspective to another perspective. Journals also. Okay, you're gonna plan the outline for the paper. Over. So after this, you're gonna write the first draft. Okay. So you'll be writing every time. You have to remember that whenever you're writing a paper, okay. So you should remember that you have to start from methodology once. Okay, so methodology, maybe just imagine you are using this particular herb. Just imagine methodology will tell that where you have collected longitude, latitude, place, date, and what's required. If you just want to season and everything, it goes well for your biodiversity papers. Okay, they will write longitude, latitude, okay, altitude. I don't remember properly. I guess it's altitude, latitude. Okay, all those things will come, and along with that, location and kind of like what's the temperature, what's the humidity, everything it's going to come, and a normal photograph of that particular area they will take if you're studying the biodiversity one. Okay, or you just leave it if you're not using it. Herb if you're just taking it, or just imagine you have taken some insect. Okay, so just imagine you have taken some kind of like a superworm and you're rearing them, and you're from that you're actually kind of like checking the biofertilizer. Superworm process a biofertilizer. Okay, so if you're using that, so at that time you'll be telling it from where the superworm has been collected and how you are actually what's the kind of like a rearing protocol, not protocol, as how did you rear them. Okay, those things will come into picture. Okay, so that's how it goes. Okay, so those things will come in methodology. After writing methodology, you write about the this one results and all. Then you go for the review. Okay, then you write introduction. Introduction should be like in the end you are writing it. So first you write about the methodology, results and everything. Then you write reviews and all. Introduction. I forgot to write discussion. Discussion will come in between. Okay, then you're writing your introduction. Okay, so this is how your first draft will look like. Then you're sending this draft to your mentor or a guide. He will edit, he will revise if there is any grammatical error, organization issues. Okay, and if you have forgot to write at all or citation problems and all, if it is there, he will check it and he will let you know. He or she will let you know. Okay, a project guide or a mentor or whatsoever. Then you will be again, you will be having multiple steps over here, maybe resubmissions and all those things. After that, you'll be having the final draft. Always remember, reference should be in APA format, or your journal will be giving you like what are the guidelines should be followed by, what kind of like what are the guidelines or a manual will be actually there for article submissions and all. So you can go for that section. Okay, and you can just check what kind of reference format they are interested in, and that format only you have to do it. Or if it's kind of like a university submission, okay, like your project work and all, university will only tell you should follow APA format or this format. That format you're gonna write it when you're submitting your project for the university evaluation process. Okay, so how it goes. Okay, so I hope this basic steps how to write a research paper is kind of like very clearly explained for you people. Okay, fine. So the first thing, again, this is kind of like a brief thing. Okay, so you will be having an abstract in the paper, which is 150 to 200 words. Okay, so here you will be writing a kind of like, I'll be making another video like how to kind of like write the abstract in detail in another video. Okay, so just now for your time being to understand the topic, just imagine that you will be having, not imagine, you should understand. Okay, so it's 150 to 250 words. Again, the journal will tell you, okay, in that guidelines, it should be 150 words or 250 words or whatever. Some journals 300 words also they will tell. Okay, so it's very rare. 250 words is max. Okay, so what are all things that should be added? That has to be added in the abstract. The abstract is in the end what you are writing. Okay, it is going to provide a concise summary of your study. Like first line, you will be writing basic introduction in a very simple word. Okay, I'll just tell you in the next video, like upcoming video, how to write a proper abstract. Okay, so you will be writing a one or two lines about your introduction. Then you will be writing about research gap. What is the research gap? And like what is the research gap? Okay, after that, what am I going to do? What I'm going to supposed to do to kind of like minus this particular research gap? How to delete this research gap? Okay, what are the things that I have followed to like erase that particular research gap? I am not getting the word. I hope you understood it. Okay. So how to kind of like tackle, yeah, I'm sorry, how to tackle this particular problem, okay, or a research gap. Okay. So then you will be writing about the kind of like findings, your results. Then in the end, you write conclusion. Okay, it's how it goes. The basic abstract will go. Okay. Then you will be having introduction section. You're gonna first thing in the introduction, if you are reading some worms or if you are reading some kind of like or growing some plants and all, you just write about the plant introduction or a worm introduction in the beginning. Okay, why this worm is used or why this plant is used. Then research problem and importance. It will come. highlight the background information, previous studies, then objectives you can say, hypothesis you can say. Everything I have explained before itself, how to frame hypothesis. Objects, objectives. Just imagine a biofertilizer wala project you are going to use. So, sorry, going to do particular objectives we can say. Objectives means you can say, I am assessing this physicochemical parameters. Okay, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, chlorine, calcium, all those things. Okay, ash, moisture. Okay, all those things will come under physicochemical parameters. That's the one thing. Plant growth is another objective. Okay, seed germination will be another objective. Okay, so these are the basic objectives you can say. Okay, and you want to write it in the introduction session. Okay, then outline structure of the paper. Okay, entire whatever the paper will be having. Just imagine these are the basic things. If you're doing antioxidant also of that particular compost or whatsoever, you write it here also in the objective that antioxidant value essay also we are going to do. And in introduction, you have to explain one extra paragraph about what is this antioxidant product also. There in the introduction, you should remember that again, the introduction wala section will be referred from the previous studies and you're giving the citation or you're giving the credits for them. You're writing the author name and everything here also in the basic introduction. But please be cautious about plagiarism and everything. You read their paper and write in your own sentence. Cite paper. That's how it goes, and that's how it's supposed to be. Okay. Then you have methodology. Okay, you're gonna tell about your research design. You're gonna even tell what are the chemicals used, materials used, like physical, chemical, and everything. In the chemical, you can just tell about kind of like sulfuric acid, all those things, whatever you have used in the essay. In the instrumentation, sorry, in the instrumentation part and other things, you can just tell about glasswares and instrumentation hidden you can put and you can explain. Not explain, you can just add. You have used UV spectrophotometer, or we have used this particular basic colorimeter or pH meter, all those things will come into picture comes from the basic methodology. Or if you are reading worms, reading heading will come, then you are telling what protocols has been followed to rate this particular worm. At that time, you have to tell the feed also, what kind of feed you have given, okay, food you have given, okay, for this particular worm, so that you can conduct the experiment on that, okay, all those things will come in the picture. Then, yeah, materials, data sets, experiments, and all will come under methodology. After writing the basic thing, you have to write it. If you estimated nitrogen, which method you have used. If you estimated carbon, which method you have used. You have to again give us